Hi there, it's Donovan, and welcome back to the special hour. I don't even know what number it is, but 33. We've been through a lot.
33.
33 Expedition. This is the Expedition 33 podcast. Today I'm joined by my co-host who loves Expedition 33, MrDean.
I've never played Expedition 33. What's up, everyone? It's MrDean. It's awesome to be back here on the show as always. And this episode, we are joined by a lovely guest. Welcome, Dreams. What's up? And it's not the Minecraft streamer. It's a whole different, some would argue better version of Dreams.
I was about to ask, you get that mixed up a lot, or do people get that mixed up a lot?
There is I won't name any creators, but there are creators out there that definitely call me Dream.
Name them. Name them.
No. they when I enter their events, they definitely do call me Dream typically. And I also meet other ones that call me Dream, and I'm like, and they call me Dreams a couple times before, so it's kind of funny when they do it. I'm like, hey, all right.
I was about to start off the episode saying, Dream, we got to address the cheating allegations.
I was literally about to say that.
You know, I didn't know who he was until like 2022 maybe, or 2021, around that time. And my name Dreams has been a thing since like 2016, because I used to play Smash Bros competitively, and that was my name.
You were the OG.
Oh, I'm cornered by competitive Smash players right now.
It's time to talk about competitive Smash the entire time.
Exactly.
We're MrDean.
I'll just sit on my phone and scroll Twitter while you guys do that.
But Dreams, who are you? What do you do?
Yeah, what do you do on YouTube?
Yeah, so on YouTube, I mainly do Nintendo-based content, but I take most of my streams from Twitch.tv and then also from YouTube Live, and take those and make it into long-form content and also shorts. So I do stuff from things like Mario Kart and Pokemon as the main two Nintendo games, which I've noticed that I've only been doing recently. And I also do other things like the scary games here and there, and there's a few variety stuff, but mainly now storytelling off of Nintendo-based games.
Yeah, well, literally the other day before one of my lectures, I had a little bit of downtime, and I was watching one of your recent videos. You were drawing like classic stuff in Mario Paint, which was like I remember the first one that you did was like you drew a chair, and it was like really goofy. But you hit like every angle of the gaming zeitgeist.
I watched this video is sort of similar to one that I also put someone in the hot seat for. I watched their video. I found every mom in Pokemon and I ranked them.
Whose video is that? That's crazy.
Funny. You put Ash's mom at number 1, which is, a pretty valid pick, and I didn't know this. I'm not the biggest Pokemon fan, but I'm reading the comments and it's like, for anyone still wondering, you were saying you think Ash's mom was sleeping with Professor Oak, but your comments were saying, for any still wondering about Ash's dad, there's apparently an official book saying his dad was a failed Pokemon trainer and left his wife and child because of it, never returning. Is this true?
I think I did hear about that too, but as like that is hilarious. Because sometimes I'll just say random stuff in my videos, and I don't even realize I said that. Like, I didn't realize I said the Professor Oak and the Delia Ketchum thing.
Ash's mom is low-key a little messed up for not telling him about his dad. But I still agree with the pick, and it could be worse because we had another guest on the podcast where I think this was episode 3 where he had a video.
Not ranking the hottest Nintendo characters.
Top 10 hottest Nintendo characters.
Shout out Ivan Avi if you're listening.
Shout out Ivan. Hi Ivan.
Yeah. So Dreams, what's your pick? Can we get the live Dreams take?
Yeah. Can we get the official Dreams opinion?
There's a lot of Nintendo characters. Sheesh. I mean, we're keeping it on the surface level here. I'm picking Daisy first.
Wait, Dreams, why are we? Hold up.
Type shit?
Dreams, why are we being surface level? Why can't we get into the nitty gritty?
Yeah, go on.
If I just throw out random person like I don't know, Brittany from Pikmin 3, some people might not even know that one, even though it's not her. Like, I got niche picks in my head, but like, That's for me and me only. You know, I can't give out the world all my secrets. I'm curious now. What was Ivan? What was Ivan's first pick? Like number one, like top of the ranks.
What was it? Wait, what was his number one?
So for very sweet reasons, it is a very sweet pick. It reminded him of his wife. That's very sweet.
That's nice, yeah.
But Isabel is a dog.
Okay, but Donovan, there's a lot of characters that are like anthropomorphic animals. And to be fair, I remember in that podcast you said like bar for bar that you wanted to fuck Funky Kong. And that is not a human being, Donovan. So if we're gonna really whip out that card, I have to call you out. Like Donovan, I love you as your friend. Like I have to humble you.
All right. I'd like to fuck Funky Kong. You'd like to do things to Judy Hopps.
Whoa, slow down.
You know, there's other characters I've always liked. There's always been like Sabrina from Pokemon, the Kanto region. There's always been like Palutena, Samus. I don't see Zeros from Samus, but Samus. You know, I wouldn't say Wii Fit
Yeah, that's
Trainer,
the only
even though
reason why I played
named her.
Metroid.
That is the only reason.
See, we are on the topic of this is a gaming podcast. Normally we stray away from gaming at the beginning, but this is indeed a gaming podcast.
Well, and just for context, and this is why this episode's already going 10 times better than I could have even imagined. This is the first time in the Special Hours history where we are just completely winging an episode. We're just going to like let the convo fly. And I just knew some bullshit was going to go down right away. And here we are talking about fucking Nintendo characters less than 10 minutes in.
It's crazy. So that video you mentioned, like at first, it was like, I remember the process of making that. I recorded that whole video back when I lived at a different place, and I just did not like it. I did not like the way I did it, and I just like, F this, I'm gonna re-record this and do it somewhere else. And I re-recorded and did it, and I was like, my top pick was like Melody from Pokemon. She was like the Ice-type gym leader from Sword and Shield. I like, you know, Hot Moms. Nice. I recall. It's great. So, from there, I was just like, I can't put her first, even though I really want to. It was a tough decision. I'm not gonna lie. So I re-recorded it and just made her like 4th or something.
So Dreams, I have a question for you. Yeah. Do you think that realistically there will be any Pokemon Pokopia characters that will be eligible for the hottest character like designation? Because I'm really excited about that game, and I would love to enter like storming into this conversation after playing it.
You know, given what the game has given us so far, I'm gonna say no.
Donovan is so done with me.
Aren't the characters in Pokopia just Pokemon and a Ditto?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But
Donovan, you know, I'm just excited about the game. Okay, just let me be happy. Okay.
There could always be a random character, and then it becomes possible. It means maybe.
Okay, so right now I'm literally just scrolling through Dreams' old videos right now, right? Like because as soon as Donovan was bringing up one of them, I was like, okay, there's got to be some gold in here, because I was mainly looking through your like more recent videos. I wasn't even looking at the old stuff. So right away, I just randomly scroll, and then I see a thumbnail that immediately catches my eye. And the title is "We Find Our Race's Most Common Stereotypes."
What?
What?
So what's going on here, Dreams? Yeah, let's poke into this one a little bit.
This is back when I was in college. So it was me and my roommates. My roommate JT and my roommate Jamie. So Jamie is Taiwanese and JT is Indian. I'm black. So for context,
very diverse crowd.
Yeah, diverse crowd. All my friend group was pretty diverse, actually. We were all, I think every single one of us was a different race, so it was very interesting friend group. It was on stream. I remember I saw a video on like whatever the website was, or like what had the YouTube channel was on, and I was like, all right, there's one of the Indian one. I was like, all right, I told my roommate JT and Jamie, let's watch this together, and we did on stream. And then there was right next to it was a Chinese one, which isn't Taiwanese, but there's like some weird relations with that right now. But we chose to watch.
Wait a minute.
We could easily turn this podcast into a whole geopolitical conversation about.
Now I will easily say.
Wait.
Now the protect my back here, I didn't choose that video. Jamie did, so it's fine.
Okay.
It's okay.
All right. Hey, Dreams. This podcast is a safe space. Okay, there's no judgment here.
Yeah. I appreciate that. I'm feeling warm now. I'm more than welcomed. The last video was Africa, and basically, I remember one of the questions was, are Africans all black? And I said yes, and then they said no. I was like, fuck. And I was like, okay.
This is a gaming podcast, by the way. I just want to remind everyone.
This is a gaming podcast. We have finally strayed off.
If you look at my whole entire I want to say discography, whatever, videography of like
discography.
It's a discography. Yeah,
your videos are like albums.
Is YouTubeography the right word, or
it's a YouTubeography?
Maybe like videography, because videography is like that's probably a better word.
Works. If you do go through my portfolio, you'll see a lot of not just video game, because I do more than just video games most times, but at heart my channel is still video games. At least it's changing that. So yeah.
And on the topic of what we already were talking about, let's see, where was this? I just saw, I just scrolled away from it. I saw something about like being black in Pokemon, and I was about to bring that up.
Oh, yeah.
You know which video I'm talking about?
Yeah. You say a title, I didn't remember.
Oh, I found it. Okay. I found it. So the video is titled, "We watched, quote, being black in Pokemon."
Yeah, that's a reaction video. So there's this guy who made a very good video, Being Black in Pokemon is what it's called. And essentially he goes through like kind of black culture and black as a Pokemon trainer. And for those who don't know, the first region that have I think really black people was Unova, given it's an American based Pokemon region. That's one that's mostly talked about. And he just kind of goes through like all the characters and everything like that, which is kind of fun. And I was like, oh yeah, I like this video a lot. It did pretty well, so I was surprised by that. So yeah, it wasn't anything as nearly as funny, but it was definitely an entertaining video.
I just saw a title. I used OJ Simpson to kill everyone in Wii Sports Resort swordplay. Do you plan on getting Tomodachi Life living the dream? And do you plan on having OJ Simpson on your island?
I do plan on getting Tomodachi Life. Living the dream.
What about the second part of it?
Just yet, if I will be using OJ on that island.
All right, so
it's like the end of a Marvel credits. OJ Simpson will return. Might return.
This is already my favorite episode we've ever done. This is awesome.
So unhinged.
Okay. Donovan, this is what happens whenever we go into an episode with no outline. Like this is literally.
Well, there is one thing that we usually do. That we could stick to a script, and that is special selects.
Yes.
Games that we have been playing just in general over the past week. So, Dreams, what games have you been playing?
Recently. So, as of right now, I just actually came off a stream before coming into this. I played a ROM hack right now called Pokemon Lazarus. Essentially, the game
you mean hypothetically? You didn't?
Yeah. Hypothetically. I was just toying around with the game and it got hacked and everything like that. Very fun game. I wish that that could also be used to play. But aside from that, I've also played Mario Kart. We played Mario Kart together not that long ago, which was pretty fun.
We did do that. That was fun.
I actually, funny enough, I played Mario Kart 8 Deluxe again recently on a friend's TV. And I'm not going to lie to you, that TV had lag. And I was
latency. Smash player to Smash player, I hate latency so much. I can feel it when a TV's not in like game mode or something.
I know, Donovan, I totally agree. I hate it whenever I'm playing Smash competitively and there's latency. I'm a part of the group, right? Please.
You hear something?
Okay. Anywho.
All right. Dreams, just tell us more about what you've been playing.
Yeah. So I played that. I played a little Stardew Valley, which is kind of Nintendo adjacent. I think it has the charm of a Nintendo game would be, in my opinion. One of my favorite games of all time. A lot of people don't know that. Well, sometime soon I'll be playing Donkey Kong 64. I think within the next week and a half or so. So
I'm actually very interested to see what you think about that. Doesn't that game have a rocky reputation?
Yeah, one of the most notable things about that game, since it's a collectible game, like Banjo-Kazooie, it is known to have one of the highest amount of collectibles in any video game. So really, it could take a long time if you're trying to truly 100% the game, which I will not do, but I will enjoy it though.
No, you know what you should do? Like, so you know how streamers do, and we'll talk about streaming probably after we get to our special selects, but you know how streamers do like subathons, right? Where it's like, I won't end this stream until like the sub clock runs down. You should do that, but like, I won't end the stream until I 100% Donkey Kong 64.
That might take forever.
If I was really locked in, I could do it, but I'm not sure how. I'm not sure how mentally I'd be able to ready for that, but I could do it. I feel like I could.
It'd be fun. You could do like a highlight like video of it after, and it's just like you just like in anguish towards the end, just like someone take me out of this.
It would not be the first time I've been in mental anguish where I just like did a game for a very long time, but it wasn't even a subathon. It was just a very long Mario Kart challenge for 19 hours.
Donovan, what have you been playing?
I have a spicy topic. I've been playing Virtual Boy Nintendo Classics.
No way. What?
So let me explain myself. I think I've explained myself before, but I was going through my collection. This was even before they announced the Virtual Boy. But I realized, I think I have every Nintendo system at least playable. I have NES, SNES Classic Editions, N64 I have via the Nintendo Classics. GameCube is on my Wii, then I got Wii. The PU is on the Switch, and the Switch, Switch 2. And then on handhelds, I have Game Boy on Nintendo Classics. Game Boy Advance is my DS, and then I got the 3DS. So I got everything. Except for one, the Virtual Boy. And I was thinking to myself, you know, one day, in the very distant future, I think I'd probably spend the money on a Virtual Boy, on a real one.
Donovan, did you ever stop and think that maybe there's a good reason why you didn't have a Virtual Boy?
There's a good reason. I wasn't alive. But also, since Nintendo put in the effort to not only make their own faithful recreation, but also preserving these games for the first time, for me, this was like the best case scenario. I don't have to go out and like shell out $700 for an offhand system with probably a destroyed box and 0 games. This is the perfect scenario for me. For me, 95% of people should not buy this. Please do not buy this. I bought this over Mario Tennis Fever.
Wow.
Which, okay, to be fair, based on what I've heard about Fever, I feel like maybe you made the right call, honestly.
Has the feedback been negative about Fever? I have no clue.
I was talking to another YouTuber about it the other day, and they were telling me that what they were saying is kind of along the lines of what a lot of reviewers have been saying. The campaign is really short, and then the first like half of the campaign is just tutorials, and then like the core gameplay is fun, but there's just not much to do with the gameplay. So $70 is just definitely way too high of a price tag for it. Which that's already kind of what I assumed the game was going to be like. Honestly, Donovan, I can't even blame you. Like, I think you made the right call getting the Virtual Boy headset. So.
When I was playing it, W Virtual Boy, the only W it would get. When I was playing, like, it faithfully recreated it, especially the flaws. This will be my next video. They perfectly made my neck feel terrible. I was like, oh, the 30 actually, you know, I guess for someone in the 90s, this would be kind of cool. And then, like, I got out of the Virtual Boy, and I was blinded by God. I'm like, oh my ring light just permanently burned itself into my retina.
Was it like that sensation whenever you get out of a movie and then you just walk outside? And
Yeah.
How I vision this is like you are in the Virtual Boy, you're looking at it, and you open up, obviously you take it off your face, and then the ring light's right in your face. You're like, ah!
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what happened. I audibly said, "Oh my god!" But like I think an hour later, I my eyes are like, Jesus Christ, my eyes are in pain. They weren't kidding back in the 90s. This thing is welcome back 3DS. They have so many warnings on the box and on the software. Those Virtual Boy games, they range from mid to I guess this would be cool. The only great
I guess
one was,
this would be cool.
yeah, I guess this would be cool. Maybe not for $180 back in the day, but
wait, that's how much the MSRP was back then?
yeah, back then it was $180.
I did not know that. Whoa.
I wonder why it failed.
Well, Donovan, I don't think that's the only reason why it failed, but it definitely didn't help.
No, it is.
Sure.
It is. Yeah.
There was Red Alarm that was basically Virtual Boy Star Fox. Pretty cool. I could see why this game would suffer on a 2D screen. Pretty interesting. But then you got Virtual Boy Wario Land, which is probably the only killer game for this. Just imagine the 3D effect like if you've ever played Kirby Triple Deluxe or Kirby Planet Robobot. It's like that. It plays with the foreground and background.
Is that game? I think you spoke about that game before, right? Robobot? Like it was.
Virtual Boy Wario Land?
No, Robobot. You were saying.
Oh, Robobot, yes. Probably the best Kirby game out there. Robobot probably stole its homework from Wario Land Virtual
okay.
Boy.
I mean, no, Kirby Planet Robobot's great. I don't know about the best Kirby game, though, because, like, Epic Yarn is right there. But
But that's been my experience so far with
Donovan,
Virtual
I just have one question for you about the Virtual Boy.
Mm-hmm.
So I call Dreams just already knows I'm about to ask some bullshit. So would you say that Virtual Boy Mario Tennis is better or worse than Mario Tennis Fever? Presumably, since you haven't played.
So the funny thing is, at launch, Mario's Tennis is not on Nintendo Classics.
Okay. I thought.
Why?
Why is that not on there? That's the only Virtual Boy game I know.
Yeah, I was writing the script for my video in class, and I can read verbatim. Who needs Mario Tennis Fever? We got Mario Tennis at home. It's Mario's Tennis. This shit isn't even available at release. Are you fucking serious?
Oh god, wait, I just got this image in my head now of Donovan in his architecture lecture, but instead of paying attention to the lecture and, ensuring his good future in academics, he is writing a review of the Virtual Boy in 2026.
Dang, that's crazy specific. Huh.
Dude, I'm an academic weapon. So is my friend. He was blowing bubbles right next to me. I mean, we're a powerhouse in net brain power.
That
your games.
Oh,
play games?
Well, I thought you were gonna say something else. I just wasn't expecting for the only game you played this week to be the Virtual Boy.
No, I mean I've played Hades 2 and FF7 Rebirth, but I've said that like probably 5 times already.
Okay. Yeah.
How many special hours in a row have you talked about Hades 2?
Hades 2 is a long ass game, but I'm enjoying it.
I've heard good
FF7
things. I've heard good
remake,
things.
long ass game. I'm enjoying it.
Hey, we play real games here on this podcast.
Yeah, real
play
big boy
real
games. Like Galactic Pinball on Virtual Boy.
So this past week, I have been playing Wonder Song, which for anyone that doesn't know is kind of like this cutesy, like hand-drawn style indie game where you are playing as a bard and you don't use like weapons at all. You're simply just singing to solve puzzles and to go throughout the adventure where, it's kind of like this apocalyptic storyline. At this point, I'm only about halfway through the game, so I don't know fully what ends up happening, but I do really like the writing. There's some really cute there's cute moments, but there's also some pretty heavy moments. I don't want to spoil for anyone unfamiliar with the game exactly what happens, but there are moments that kind of make you, hit you in a way that you weren't expecting because of the cutesy aesthetic. The gameplay, on the other hand, I'm not huge on. It's just like there are interesting uses of the singing. And by the way, for anyone that watched our previous episode, that was the background footage of episode 32, so you can see what the game looks like. That's like a wink and a nod way of me getting them to watch the other episodes. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, the game's fun. I think if you're into indie games, into like kind of somewhat experimental platformers in that way, definitely consider giving Wonder Song a try. And then I started my replaythrough to get footage of Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, except this time around I am doing the 3DS remake because I've never played it. I guess I've already talked about Superstar Saga multiple times on the podcast, but I'll briefly touch on the remake. So far, the remake looks good, but I know some of the sprites are weirdly like not as charming as the original game, but I still like it overall. It runs really well. There's some really nice quality of life features like the ability to save at any point. And then they added this random mode where you're able to like, I haven't even played it, nor am I really interested in playing it, but it's like this weird pseudo, like it's like another extension of like the cutesy Mario RPG type of thing, except not as interesting from what I've gathered. But
I want to say, when I was younger, I always wanted to be like transported in that game, like Mario and Luigi.
Oh, dude, Mario and Luigi's awesome. Did you play them or like?
Yeah. I remember the one I played was Bowser's Inside Story. That was the one I played.
That's peak.
Yeah,
Bowser's Inside Story is peak.
I heard it was one of the best ones.
It's the best one, Dreams.
Okay.
Bowser's Inside Story is to Mario and Luigi what Kirby's Epic Yarn is to Kirby. You know what I mean? It's just like
really dog shit.
It's like the magnum opus of its respective franchise.
It was so good it bankrupted Alpha Dream.
Okay, Donovan, that's not fully true because it did. It technically did, but it's because they released a remake of, like, if we're getting technical about it, they already had Bowser's Inside Story playable on the 3DS because it was backwards compatible with the DS. And they were like, all right, you know what? We're going to remake Bowser's Inside Story anyway, and we're going to release it like a whole year after the Switch came out, but not on the Switch. We're going to release it on the 3DS. And then the game sold like did it sell even like 200,000 units?
Yeah,
it was horrible.
I don't think it sold that good, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so technically, yes, the best game in the franchise did bankrupt the company, technically.
I remember those Switch era 3DS games. I remember still playing my 3DS when the Switch first came out. So there's like Samus Returns, maybe my favorite 3DS game ever. That game flopped hard. Bowser's Inside Story came out, you said a year later, into the Switch's life, flopped hard. And then to top it all off, the final 3DS game, or first party 3DS game in 2019, so 2 years into the Switch's
Extra
life.
Epic Yarn.
Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn.
No way.
I was one of very few people that bought that version, and it flopped hard.
Well,
yeah.
I'm just no comment.
Oh, there was also Luigi's Mansion. I also bought that one.
Yeah, which that still is a really interesting. Like, I always forget that Luigi's Mansion was remade on the 3DS.
That was the one I played. Also flopped really hard.
Well, I feel like they could have released anything and it would have flopped probably at that time period.
I've played all 3 of Luigi Mansions. I have not. What's it called? I did not beat number 3 though. Not that because I think I just was streaming it, and sometimes when I you change genres of streaming, I just don't go and finish my games. But I liked it a lot though. I remember I liked it.
Well, so speaking of streaming, this is something I was actually really excited to talk about with you on the podcast. That was a pretty good segue, right, Donovan? You have to admit, I got better.
Incredible. Yeah. I mean,
so Dreams, you are quite the streamer. I remember whenever I first found your channel, you were already doing streams back then. You've still been doing it. So right away, it's like, how do you keep the consistency whenever it comes to doing something that I've always found to be incredibly draining? I already don't know how people stream in general, let alone for an extended period of time like that.
Yeah. I mean, streaming is very interesting because you have the people who do 2 hours, the people who do 6 hours, and the people who just never stop streaming, which I don't envy at all. I'll say that. So myself, there's just a little method to it myself. I've always liked making YouTube videos, and I always enjoyed that as an aspect, but I always like the idea of like being able to do and have people live with it. Like there's 3 things from the live stream that I always like prioritize. Oh my God, I can't say that word. Prioritize. How do you say that word? Damn it. Prioritize.
Prioritize.
Yeah, that word. There we go. I was jumbling on my words for a second. Yeah. Don't ask me how to spell it either. One of the things is I want to create content that people want to be a part of. And the second thing is create content that people wish they were there for. So they missed it. They wish they were like, oh, I wish I was there to see it. Or they see a video.
Gotta give them that FOMO.
Yeah, the FOMO. The FOMO.
The guilt trip.
And the guilt trip and FOMO, both of them. And the last thing is create content that I wish I could have been there to watch, because one of the hardest things is like you wish, if you like the content a lot, you like the idea a lot, you want to watch it yourself like uniquely and like organically yourself, but obviously you're the product, so you never get to watch it yourself in a fresh slate. So it's like if I wish I was there, they could watch it from like someone else's perspective, then I feel like it was a good stream. And I always try to think of my best ways to do that each stream. Some days are like harder than others because maybe I'm doing a long challenge, or maybe it's not the most interesting thing. But not every day should be a great stream. It's all about improvement. And I think the fun thing about it, it's like you're always self-improving yourself and trying to be a better, in a way, not actor, but in a way, an act, a performance.
There is an element of theatrics with streaming. And that, like you said, that's not saying that whenever you're streaming, you're putting up a facade or anything. But there's that element of entertainment where you have people that are putting the time out of their day to watch you live. And at any given moment, once they don't feel like they're getting that positive feedback loop anymore while they're watching you, there's nothing stopping them from just either closing the tab or going to a different stream. So yeah, it obviously is important, making sure that you're putting your best foot forward. And that's the exact reason why I'm so fascinated by how streamers do it, because like I've tried streaming a few times before, and I've had varying levels of, people stopping by and then leaving and whatnot. I've always found that after about like an hour or so into the stream though, I just get completely burnt out mentally, because constantly thinking about commentating and looking at chat and then looking back at the game, and then at a certain point it's like I don't know how streamers do these long out streams.
How do you address the brick wall?
Yeah, I think in my mind, I always know someone's there. And even if there's no one is there, which could happen very much, I just keep to myself like, well, let's imagine if no one is there. How would I want someone to walk in, like randomly popping in to be looking at this? I don't want them to be a random person walk in and see this, oh, this person's streaming, and then I'm like deadpan face at the screen and not saying anything. Rather than me conversating and making something up, or making some kind of conversation, or telling a story, or at least talking about some kind of reaction of the game, to be welcomed in and warm. I think for myself, it helps that I'm an extrovert, and I think introverted people can very much be big streamers as well. I think there's plenty of introverted streamers out there. But I think since I'm a talkative person in general, and maybe I don't talk to many people at work on a day-to-day basis, that I have all that energy to be able to spew out onto stream. And I have a lot of thoughts in my head, because a lot of my time I was like, oh, I want to tweet this out. But I'm like, maybe it's better I say it on stream. Because it'd be funnier to talk about on stream.
And I'm guessing that does kind of motivate people to check you out whenever you are streaming, because that's the only time they're hearing that stream of consciousness that you're talking about. The people that do find you entertaining. But I was curious though, because you just mentioned how, whenever Donovan asked about that brick wall, so to speak, whenever maybe you have no one watching, but you still have to keep a level of entertainment just in case if someone stops by. And I agree with what you're saying, but there is still that underlying, I don't want to say fakeness, but you are acting as if someone is there whenever they're not. And doesn't that get draining more so than just like a normal stream? Because I feel like a lot of the time, whenever you're streaming and you see 0 viewers right there, you can try to kind of gaslight yourself into being like, okay, either like there are people watching me right now, or I need to keep my energy up just in case if someone stops by. But does that kind of like, increase the amount of energy that's having to go towards your brain in that process?
Yeah, so there's levels to it. So I think subconsciously I'm always going to be speaking at this point in my time. I've gotten so used to it. And I know for a person who may be newer to it or not too comfortable with it, it's going to be a huge challenge. To my myself, and this is for myself only, and I think people can figure this way out also. I know for myself that I'm going to produce this content on Twitch and put it onto other platforms such as YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever it may be. And it could be a random moment, it just could happen at any time where you can take that clip and put it onto something. So I always have some kind of energy at least at all times throughout a stream. I think it's something hard to practice because sometimes you can do it for 2 hours, sometimes you can do it for 6 hours, and it's not going to be always a moment, it's going to be like a hot hit. And that's just part of the game. I love analytics for one. So when I see things go good and I see things go bad, I kind of wonder to myself, why did I do that? And try to replicate to see why it is. It's what I like partially majored in college, and I think that's what it is for me overall also. It's just that it's a little game in my head. It's like, oh, I want to see what happens if I do this. If it goes up, it goes down. And I just want to keep, toying with it. And that's just I think the way my mind is wired. And I think that's not how everyone's wired, definitely. But I think this the key motivator to it for some people. It's just to imagine yourself being able to put this onto a different platform and practice that energy you want someone to see, and it's going to progress over time. Like 1 hour you can do it well, 2 hours you can do it well, and 3 hours you can do it well, so and so and so. And that's how it tell someone who is new to it, or maybe a little bit down on like, oh, I'm not doing too well, or oh, I need a new motivator. And sometimes just watching someone else is also really helpful because you can pick up on what they do.
I wonder how you balance between what you want to do compared to what the algorithm or what the general audience would want out of you. Because I do remember you saying when we were talking about the moms of Pokemon, you wanted to put this person from Pokemon Sword, but you decided, we'll put her to 4th place. And now you're saying, well, I want to do this, but then, the analytics, I'm analyzing what I did good here. Mm-hmm. How can I keep on replicating that? So how do you balance between what you desire and what the algorithm desires?
It's not an easy thing to balance what I desire and what other people wants to see, because sometimes my audience wants to see more gameplay related things or want to see me play a story game. And in truth, I know analytically that typically doesn't do well for me, and that can be a struggle between finding balances of that. So that's why now I do more of the gaming related challenges over the past few years. So it kind of combines like a niche for myself and also combines the gameplay aspect. But wholeheartedly, I just think a lot of people need to throw things at the wall. Because my whole career has been throwing things at the wall, if I'm being really honest with you. You guys described it yourself. I was talking about Pokemon moms, and I talked about O.J. Simpson destroying somebody. Me talking about my roommates and I doing different races. That is 3 different genres of 3 different things.
Very different genres.
Exactly. And then you just have to throw things at the wall and try new things and not be afraid of it. Because I think once you throw something at the wall, you feel at least a freedom from it all. It's like, yeah, I did that. And no one can say I didn't do it. Even if it didn't do well, I don't care. I did it. And throwing things at the wall kind of shows the people that this guy or this person, this lady, cares about content. They just want to throw things at the wall and have fun with it. And you can see the energy at least. I think overall, content obviously has its own analytics, and people will be dragged to so-and-so, 101, whatever it is they might be interested in. But energy is always going to be there. If you have a good energy of something that's random, like painting the Mona Lisa or talking about Pokemon moms, people are going to stay if your energy is there. And that's just how I've always seen it.
Well, and that's also my philosophy too, whenever it comes to like AI, for example, or not even just AI, but whenever it comes to being in a medium like we are in, that's so oversaturated with other people doing the exact same thing. We're not the only Nintendo podcast that you could watch right now. And that's not to say that we're like better or worse than other podcasts, because everyone has their own things that makes them unique. And that's something I believe in, is it's like at the end of the day, the one thing that no one else can take away from you, including AI, is your sense of self and your personality.
Authenticity.
So yeah, exactly. And that's what, kind of like what Dreams was just saying, so something I thought about whenever, kind of at the beginning of, I remember 2025, this is kind of like whenever I started to shift my channel, but I asked myself the question, why would someone go to my channel over going to literally any of the other Nintendo YouTubers that are making similar content to what I'm making in my niche?
Yes.
And part of the answer I came to, aside from just like some of the random unique type of videos I do, was my conciseness. Because I remember at the beginning, a lot of my videos were not overly scripted, but they ended up being way longer than they needed to be. And something I've noticed with YouTube is it heavily prioritizes those long, video essay style content. And there's nothing wrong with that. There absolutely is a place for people making that type of stuff, and I love watching it. Part of what I thought about is there's not as much of people making more condensed, type of videos that says what it needs to say and it moves on.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, you know what? I kind of want to try, pushing myself into that because that's something I haven't tried yet. Anyway, the TLDR of what I'm trying to say is that the one thing no one else can take away from you is you. You are, at the end of the day, the only person that understands your brain on a deep level, and you're able to provide a personality with your content that literally no one else can. Like what Dreams does with his videos, neither me or Donovan can fully emulate. Same thing goes with what Donovan does or what I do. So
yeah. I think I completely agree with that. I think the fun part of such creating videos in art and in general is the expression you have. Like I said, it's authentically it's yourself, and no one can really replicate what you did. And that's what makes it so beautiful. But also, since you can do the same idea as somebody else, but since it's you and you have your own way of speaking, your own way of like patterns, your script writing, it could be way, I want to say more entertaining, but it could be more entertaining for an individual than it is from someone else who watched a different one. It doesn't even matter if the person had like a better editing style, a shorter video, more snappy. If you made it like how like, well, Scott the Waz is a perfect example. He has very long videos, but he makes his in a very unique way that people don't care how long it is. They're going to sit down and watch with Scott the Waz,
Exactly. And that's why also it's like that brings up a whole interesting topic about like where you draw that line between taking inspiration from someone and then simply just, rehashing what they're doing because you saw them get success from it. And that's a trap I found myself in. I remember at the beginning of my channel was literally Scott the Waz, like what you were just saying, where if you go back to like my early videos from like the first year of my channel, I was so obviously influenced by Scott the Waz. I mean, I'm not many people are, but like my writing style with the way I tried to write jokes, very similar to the way he does it. My editing style, like everything with those early videos was very Scott the Waz coded, with maybe a little bit of hints of like Peanut Butter Gamer, a little bit of Nathaniel Band, like, insert any of the other classic Nintendo YouTubers who were themselves inspired by countless others, like Angry Video Game Nerd or, whatever other like OG channel you could possibly name. But the point I'm trying to get at is that at the end of the day, like everyone's content is an amalgamation of others. It's like a melting pot of influences, and the further time goes on, it's only going to get more and more, diluted. So
that's also really nice too, when you kind of are able to keep your influences a little separate, but also people can see it. Like imitation is a form of like complementary work, and maybe. Sure. Some people may like the way you do things similarly to Scott the Waz, and as long as I believe in a way where you shift it to more towards your slightly unique identity and see your face.
Yeah.
It's like, it's gonna be entertaining in some way.
It goes back to what we were saying about how, like, obviously do whatever brings you joy in making content. It's just, you never want to lose your own artistic edge. That's the thing that no one else can take away from you. There was also one thing I wanted to touch on that you kind of mentioned a few minutes ago. You were talking about, analytics and how you are yourself a very analytical person, right? You pay attention to specific stats about how your channel, videos, streams, all that kind of stuff is doing. I heard that right? Okay,
yeah, you're right. You're right. I do that pretty often.
So I just wanted to make sure I wasn't just like completely.
No, actually, it wasn't me.
Must have been the wind.
I was wondering though, with analytics, it inevitably is a seesaw because you could have a whole year straight where you're just fully in the green. You go to Social Blade or View Stats or whatever, or YouTube Studio. Your channel is just popping off. You know what I mean? Every day, you have that every single video, you have the 1 out of 10. But eventually, it's inevitable you're going to have a video, either one video or a string of videos that don't do well. What do you do to kind of prevent yourself from being demoralized by that? Because I feel like that's kind of inevitable that every creator, whether you're just starting out or whether you've been doing it for 10 years, you're gonna, from time to time see that kind of thing happen.
The YouTube killer.
It is
that analytic.
Seeing that 10 out of 10.
Trust me when I say this. For those who don't know YouTube very well, who are out there, and I mean, maybe I'll put out videos. So when you post a video and go look at your analytics page, it will show off a number out of 10. 1 out of 10 means it's like your number one video. In the last 10 videos, it's doing great. It gives you a nice little confetti, like literally gives you a whole confetti.
Yeah, literally gives you confetti.
It's a giant dopamine hit.
It's really nice to come back to, and even it's like 10 minutes into the video or 10 minutes into the post, like, yeah, you're doing really well. You're like, I don't care. I mean, it's 10 minutes. I don't care about how it does like in like a day or two. And then if you're not doing so well, it gives you a grayed out version of it. So it's like a little check mark, whatever, it's gray, like a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10s don't bother me as much anymore. I definitely the dopamine hit of the nice little confetti does feel nice.
Wait, but you said they don't bother you anymore, though. So
yes.
Like previously it did.
Yeah, I never came to the point where I'm like, I go crash out or get really upset of like a 10 out of 10. I think more my thing was being a perfectionist who's trying to not be a perfectionist anymore is I let it go. And it happens because I posted so many shorts. I think when I used to post shorts a lot more, I'm getting back into that, I obviously would see 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, whatever it may be. And then the 1 out of 10 would be awesome. But my mind is like, that's great that this did well. Why did it do well? And I'll look at it and I'll understand it. Okay, why did it do bad? I'll look at it and understand it and then keep moving forward. It really is kind of hard to, like, for myself personally, to bask in the glory and be like, that was amazing. I just got 5 million all-time views now. Like, that's awesome. And YouTube kind of pushes you to keep moving forward also. I think it's, as I said, I'm trying to not be a perfectionist anymore. I think what helps you let go of that is being able to reflect on yourself as how will this look years from now? Like, will I care at this video right now? Like one of my recent videos is 61 views right now. Will I care in 2 years from now that video is 61 views? More than likely not.
That's such a good point. That is such a way. I never even thought about that. If you asked me, like, if you pointed to a random video I uploaded like 50 videos ago and said, what number out of 10 was this? I would have no idea.
Exactly. You wouldn't remember unless it's like a tragedy, like a video you put like maybe 100 hours in. But most times you will forget anyway. Yeah. And with that being said, it's like most videos you put out, you don't remember what number out of 10 it was. Sure, you can see what views it was and you can go look back at it. But you always got to look things also in the future. Like, in a year from now, will I be upset that this video just didn't do well? Or will I be obsessed with this, that this video didn't do well? Maybe not a year from now, 3 years from now, probably not, because I'm moving on to other things in my life. It's about reflecting onto how that video will affect you 3 years from now, and will it be the end all be all? No, because there's so many opportunities you have in front of you. Like, even that video didn't do good, your next video could do all right, or maybe that video was so good to some individual person that able to get you a collab or a sponsorship or whatever it may be. Someone saw it. Not every video view-wise will be the one to break you open, but it does open a lot of paths to people. And that's why posting is always great. Post things because it opens a new door for somebody who may potentially really like you.
You know, speaking of sponsorship streams, funny that you say that.
Amazing segue.
Okay, no, the only reason I'm doing this is because before we were recording, I was telling Donovan and Dreams a funny story about how the one time I've gotten a sponsorship request, and the only reason we were talking about this is because I made a joke talking to Donovan, like, because he was like, "Well, I haven't been talking to Huz over the past few months," and I was like, "Oh, you haven't been?
I haven't been called in like the past 10 videos."
Yeah. So the quick funny story, and then there's one more question I wanted to ask. But with this, so there was one time where I get an email from a dating app, and this was so long ago. This was like 2 years ago, like way back. I get an email. I'm not going to say who it was, but I got an email from this dating app, and they were just like, "Hey, MrDean, we love your content, and we were wondering if you'd be open to, you know, working with us and everything." I didn't do it because, like, it felt weird advertising a dating app to a channel that does Nintendo videos, and presumably a lot of maybe people under the age of 18 are probably watching my channels. I don't want to be like, "Hey, are you horny?" You know what I mean? It feels a little bit weird to do that. But
You're talking about Bowser's inside story. Hey, you want to get inside someone too?
oh, Jesus, Donovan! Oh my!
Do you want to play Mario Kart with a person who's very attractive to you? Well, come on this dating app right now and.
Hey, do you play Mario Kart and want to use that banana for something else? Well, hop over here on this app. But anyway,
You should use the Mario Kart music in the background. Do 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 do.
Okay, Dreams, now I have 2 questions for you.
Yeah.
First, speaking of Mario Kart, but what is the best Mario Kart song for sex?
Oh, well, plenty of times I've done it. Well, I'm glad
with Mario Kart in the background. Yeah.
I'm glad you
it's-
asked.
It's a
And
classic.
I would have to be, I'll tell you one that's not good. Dolphin Shoals, I feel like that'd be too intense.
Oh, that's saxophone. Oh,
That's too intense.
yeah, because
That's too intense.
I love how abrupt this topic change was. But like no, the thing with with music that's played during such an intimate time like that is you don't want it to be too upbeat and too theatrical. You know what I mean? You don't want that.
You know
what's funny? I on Nintendo Music, as a joke, I do have a playlist called Sex Playlist, and I have
And have you
Baby
utilized
Pork in
it?
there. Me,
Oh,
the
God,
Me
Donovan,
channel.
no. Oh,
I have boxing results for when you finish.
Actually, I was gonna say the result song in
Continue.
Mario Kart is probably the best song because that's like you don't move forward, so it's like it kind of just plays. You're like, okay.
Wait, from which game?
I mean, it depends what was Mario Kart. I guess Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or maybe even World. I imagine Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is probably a little more like. Yeah, probably a lot more relaxing.
You know what I think would be the funniest one though is TikTok clock. I'm just imagining like the way it starts, the way it starts with like like do you guys remember that meme about the guy that I guess tried fucking his wife to Seabat and then she like
How
left
could I
him?
forget? Huh.
No.
Yeah.
How could I forget?
So for anyone unfamiliar with this, I want you to search up Hudson Mohawk Seabat on whatever streaming service you use or YouTube or whatever. And I want you to know that this person apparently was trying to have sex to this song. And it is remarkable because you just listen to it and see for yourself. It's awesome.
Okay.
Also, so me and my roommate, we were talking about this actually. Do Coconut Mall. That would be an enlightening experience. This is so...
I have Bendy Boing Wonder from Mario Wonder.
What the heck?
What were we even talking about before?
Well, okay, before we were actually having a really serious conversation, so I feel bad about just abruptly.
That's how all
like,
my things go. Don't worry. Yeah.
But no, but like I had that like Dreams just like alley-ooped me the perfect segue, so I had to take it and like dunk it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I try my hardest to make things be able to segue into something really embarrassing and crazy.
Well, whatever you're using Donovan's Nintendo Music, I don't think that's the only thing that's going to be hard, but you know, whatever. All right, so moving on to, I have one last question for you, Dreams.
On point.
This is like a horrible. The pacing of this podcast is horrible because this is like a genuine question.
No, this is how stream goes. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Okay, so one thing that you mentioned before that it's like a big motto of my life. So I wanted to like kind of hone in on it more because we also haven't. I don't think we've really hit this discussion on the podcast before, but you mentioned, the whole analogy about throwing darts at a dartboard, and really the essence of what you're saying is not being afraid of failure. You know what I mean? Being willing to take a risk. And in this case, we're talking about YouTube. We're talking about maybe trying a stream idea or uploading a video that is completely different than what you normally do. Maybe it'll be a 10 out of 10 video where it just bombs. Maybe it'll be a hit. Or maybe it'll be like any other video, but you won't know until you try. But I wanted to touch on that because both just because I find it interesting to talk about, but also because there could be people listening that, or I actually am sure there definitely are people listening that struggle with that to some extent, where whether it be YouTube related or just in day-to-day life, it could be talking to new people, it could be whatever career they're looking to get into, whatever. Essentially, the stagnation that comes whenever you're afraid to, step out of your comfort zone and try something new. So I was wondering if you have any other examples, either from YouTube or just in general, where you did take that leap of faith and then the butterfly effect happened, where it was I cannot imagine my life had I not done this, and I'm so happy I did.
Yeah. So I think, and I've talked to creators before about this, I think one of the things people are definitely afraid of, and this is the niche thing, people are scared to kind of hop out of niches. The Pokemon community, I love it. I love the Pokemon community. And one of the things I don't love is most people stay within a niche of that. Some people just stay purely on shiny hunting. Some people will stay purely on Pokemon Unites or challenge runs. I think many people are able to break out of a niche within 3 to 5 years time of doing a channel. I think it's okay to be able to throw a dart at the board and try something. Many people do, and maybe if it's not successful at initially, you keep practicing on it. So what I mean by that is for my example is I've thrown plenty of darts at the board and I'm not amazingly successful and not yet, at least. Well, you gotta keep it up high and
fingers crossed.
Yeah, exactly. I think to keep yourself out from just being afraid of, oh, I'll be trapped in this. Oh, I'm too scared because people are not gonna like this. You gotta realize that streaming isn't always forever, and you gotta just do it when you can. You're gonna go back from a year from now and oh, I wish I did that, and it's about the regret and not being able to do that. So my whole sense is I don't fear the fear of it, because I think to myself, I'm glad I did it and failed, rather than I'm glad I didn't do it and not worried about it not being successful or potentially being successful. Or someone else might do it, and I'm oh, well, I was thinking about that myself. And it's funny because a lot of my ideas I come up with, I see someone do it 2 days later and I get so mad. I'm
Dude,
oh my God.
Yeah, that dude, the amount of times that's happened, where it's I'll think of doing something and I just look over and it's oh shit. I mean, this might be kind of morbid. Well, actually, we've had a lot of morbid endings to these podcasts, so this would be perfectly in place. But one thing I've always thought of, or not always, but ever since I thought about this, it's helped me so much with overcoming that hurdle. But it's I imagine myself sitting on my deathbed one day and wondering. Donovan, I told you it was going to be morbid, okay? I imagine myself sitting on my deathbed, and I wonder what would life be like if that scenario pans out and I'm regretting whatever it is that I didn't do. That's a major life event. It could be, I'm imagining myself never doing YouTube in the first place, way back when. Whenever I started this channel, I originally was kind of scared of even attempting it for multiple reasons. I always dealt with the fear of judgment, thinking that my content's going to be shit anyway. I'm not as good or talented as any of the other people already making this kind of content. No one's going to care what I have to say, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until I remember I ran for an officer position for an org, didn't get it, and I didn't want to just sit around and be useless over the summer whenever I was going to be working on that. And I was all right, you know what? I'll just fuck it. I'll just try the YouTube thing. I'll just try making videos. Obviously, my channel isn't notably successful or anything, but that's an example of something where I genuinely think if I hadn't made that decision, I would be on a radically different life path right now, and not in a positive way. So that's just one example of how, it doesn't even have to be YouTube specifically. It could be literally anything that you're thinking about doing and you aren't doing, whether it be because maybe you're afraid of failing, you're afraid of being judged by others, disappointing, whatever it is. And, I'm not saying you have to do it, but, it kind of helps to think about, kind of like what Dreams was saying, you don't want to regret not doing something, you want to regret doing it and it not working out. That's just my motto.
And the piggyback off of that, I think a lot of people get caught up on coming up with an idea and not obviously doing the idea. I fall victim of this too sometimes, and I hate being the idea guy, because I think the idea guy is, oh, you're great. It's it's like theorizing stuff, but we never put it into action. It's like when people say, oh, you say you'll do this thing and then you don't do it. It's like you're not putting the action into it or showing the effort. It doesn't get easier to be not to be the idea person, because you'll fall victim to it plenty of times. But the second you start thinking to yourself and saying, who cares? Like, I care, and that's the only thing that should matter. But who cares outside externally? And then things become easier.
That literally happened with this podcast. I remember, like, I've said for years, even before I was doing my YouTube channel, whenever I used to watch other podcasts on YouTube, I would be like, I would love to do a podcast one day. That looks fun. I would love to just, get my thoughts out there. I didn't do it for a long time. I became friends with Donovan, and I had already kind of, one thing I'd always thought about was, it's like, if I ever do, like, once again, not even like actively thinking about doing a podcast, just running the what if in my head of like imagining myself doing it. I was like, okay, well, I need a co-host. Mm-hmm. Even then it was like, okay, well, because this would mean I have to actually do it, and then I have to what if I end up abandoning the project and then it ruins that fantasy in my head? Because I think that's part of why people also inevitably have that fantasy like you're describing, where it's like you do it in your head instead of in real life, because you think if it doesn't work out, I'm not going to have that comfort of existing in my own head with everything working out or whatever, like the perfect ideal situation. But like literally what you're describing is basically how the special hour started in the first place, was being like, all right, you know what, how about I just actually do it? Just like, what if I just like ask Donovan if he's down to start a podcast?
And then
bam. I know, it really did. It's beautiful how this spawned from a conversation about what Nintendo song would be best to fuck to.
Yeah,
that's my favorite part.
As all great philosophers have come from with that.
Yeah, I feel like Aristotle and Socrates would honestly be proud of us.
It's like, crazy. I was about to combine their names, say Aristotle or something like that.
Aristotle. We are a very well-rounded podcast.
I think it's fair to say that we are the Nintendo Nightmare Blunt rotation. I think we've earned that title.
Well, I'm glad. It's like I put a chaotic energy into many streams, and I try. It's so funny because Nintendo streamers are a lot more like lighthearted. And then you see like the things on my channel, and I'm not nearly as lighthearted and it's
happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, I mean, well, maybe you're not as like wholesome, but you're still like, whenever I'm watching your videos, obviously I haven't seen all of them, as we talked about at the beginning of the podcast. I haven't seen your videos about race stereotypes. I need to add that to my watch later. But no, like from the videos I've seen, you have a very like cheery, fun atmosphere. So I would say that falls, in my opinion, under lighthearted. It's not necessarily about like the specific subject matter. I could be
I'm
wrong.
like I'm a comfort streamer of anybody. A comfort streamer of like a controlled chaos, or maybe even a unpredictable good in some way.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say, and that is a really important style of content, because there are a lot of people where even whenever you aren't thinking about it on the top of your head, they could be having a horrible day. They could be, you have no idea what they're going through in life, and having that small outlet of escapism or whatever the type of content. I'm not saying you're doing it as escapism, but you know what I mean. Like having, it's just a vessel that people are able to sink into, and just like you said, it's a comfort stream, and I think that does. There's a beauty in that. So anyway, this honestly, I am very impressed. The fact that this has been one of my favorite podcasts we've ever done for a multitude of reasons, and there was not a single outline. Like, we did this off the dome. This is awesome. All right, so yeah, Dreams, for any of those people that liked your voice or what you said or who you are or anything, where can they find you on the internet?
I am DreamsWGH, and you can find me on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. You can find me on all those platforms. I'm mainly streaming on TikTok. I'm not TikTok, Twitch and YouTube, and you'll see a lot of my videos over there on YouTube. And I'm sure we'll have like a collab feature on this video where I can make sure you guys can come over to me afterwards. So this is very fun, and
this is I actually am like having a blast right now. Donovan, where can the people find you on the internet?
You can find me, DonovanDud, on YouTube, where I'm doing a bunch of gaming reviews on some more recent Nintendo games. I'm also on Discord. You can interact with me on my Discord server, the Nintendo Boys. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram. MrDean, where are you?
Dude, I am on YouTube, MrDean44. If you like Nintendo content, feel free to check me out. I do reviews, rankings. I have this like kind of experimental summarization series that's kind of inspired by those videos where it's like every blank and, a very short amount of time. And then you can find me on Twitter, on Blue Sky. I have a somewhat dormant Discord server that maybe one of these days I'll try to revive. We talk about this every single episode, and it has just yet to happen, but, maybe one day. And yeah, bye.
Bye.
Dreams, this is where you say bye, Dreams.